You see that? All these little vertical shafts is what differentiates a martabak to a pancake, okay? See, this is what you want. Hello strangers, welcome to my series, Escapism Cooking. I'm Mandy, and today we're gonna be making Indonesian martabak, but with a Hong Kong flair. And instead of chocolate sprinkles and cheese and whatnot, we're gonna be making an Elvis style, meaning peanuts and banana and bacon. So let's do it. I already have my dry ingredients in this big bowl, mainly tapioca flour and a little bit of all-purpose flour. The point of the all-purpose flour is really just to hold the batter together, because tapioca flour is not really a flour, it's a starch, okay? And it doesn't have gluten. So it's basically create a little bit of structure for the batter before it gets cooked. And then very basic sugar, salt, and then I have yeast, okay? Yeast is a more traditional method, I would say, and the Hong Kong style is still using yeast, okay? Which I am too. I'm gonna be using a combination, like yeast, and later on we're gonna be adding baking soda, just to like have a little bit of a dual action. Hey guys, I'm filming you. Hello, hello. So the yeast is not just a leavening agent, but I think it brings flavor as well, and so I don't want to skip that part. So we need 2 whole eggs and 4 egg yolks. The next main wet ingredient is coconut milk. To make the process a little faster, I've warmed up the milk to basically speed up the fermenting process. Now you're gonna whisk this until it's very even and lump-free. Remember, there's very little all-purpose flour in here. You can't over-whisk it, okay? You're not developing any gluten. This is not gonna become tough, okay? So make sure that you whisk really well so that all the lumps are gone. So now, once that's done, you are going to cover this and leave it to get bubbly for about an hour. So if your kitchen is really cold, that warm coconut milk is gonna help. Why is it called the Elvis sandwich? I don't know, maybe because Elvis loves to eat it. At least that's what the internet says. Is it correct? I don't know, who cares?
Thank you, dear. Love you too, thank you.
I'm not gonna use peanut butter. I'm gonna make a peanut sugar, okay? So here I have pre-roasted, salted, roasted peanuts. You really need the saltiness in this recipe. I usually keep my salted roasted peanuts frozen. So when I need to turn them into a powder, like for instance now, they don't turn into peanut butter, okay? Because they're cold. So you wanna do that. So before you do this, put your roasted peanuts in the freezer for at least an hour, okay? Preferably 2. Dark brown sugar, okay? Gonna pulse it. And don't run it continuously for too long because you don't want peanut butter, okay? What you're looking for is something like this, okay? If you keep running the spice grinder on these peanuts, it's going to become hot because of the friction. It's gonna release oil and you're not gonna get a powder, okay? Or a ground sugar kind of a texture. Next thing, bacon. You can cook the bacon however you like. I prefer it to be very, very dry and crispy for this recipe, okay? So I prefer the microwave method, okay? But you can do it however you like. The microwave method is basically you sandwich your bacon with paper towel, okay? Top and bottom, you basically put them in between paper towels and you microwave them on high for about 4 to 5 minutes and they're gonna become really super crispy. And then banana, no need to make it complicated, just make sure it's ripened and that's it. Okay, I'm gonna be honest here, this is not really like a foolproof or fail-proof recipe. Like you really need to know your oven and it kind of depends, you know, your result or how long it takes or what temperature. It kind of depends on the oven. You want to preheat your oven on bottom heat. And then you want to put your baking vessel, okay, this baking pan, directly on the bottom of the oven, okay, not on lower rack. You want it to touch the bottom of the oven so that it heats up. So traditionally, the Indonesian martabak, they are cooked over stovetop. I tried that method. It's so super difficult to control the flame, like, you know, so that it cooks evenly, but then not burning the bottom. And plus, it's very difficult. Like everybody's like, stovetop is different, the flame is different. The diameter of your range is different, so it's just, I feel like it's more consistent and I find it much easier to do it the oven way. Okay, so that's what we're doing. So make sure that your pan is directly on the bottom and then you preheat. Okay, you want the pan to be hot. It's been about 1 hour, okay, and your batter should now look really super foamy. I'm gonna skim that off a bit, okay? I don't actually want this foam on top. Now here's where we're gonna add in our baking soda. We're gonna mix this with some water first. Make sure that it's dissolved or no clump, and then you add it into your batter. And then you give it a little stir. Take your pan out of the oven and I want to brush a bit of coconut oil on the surface. I don't want to use butter because butter burns more easily because it has those milk solids. And the coconut oil adds even more coconut flavor to that, okay? So once that's in, you want to pour your batter through a sieve into the pan. And then make sure that there's not too much foam that's floating on top, okay? Right now, I don't really see a lot of foam, which is great. But if there is too much foam on top, make sure you skim them off just a bit. Okay, so now, back into the oven, right on the bottom of the oven. Okay, and I hope your oven is evenly leveled, because mine is not really. Okay, you want to leave just a little bit of opening like this on in your oven. You want to cook the bottom first. You want the heat to come from the bottom, okay? And that is going to activate all those bubbles, and it's going to have to reach all the way through the batter to the surface, okay? So if your oven is too hot, like say I close my oven is too hot, the surface is gonna start to cook as well, the top surface, okay? And those air bubble is not gonna be able to penetrate, okay? It's gonna be stuck. You're gonna have to babysit this a little bit, okay? But only 20 minutes. So I wanna show you what I mean by kind of babysitting this a little bit. Can you see that there are bubbles forming on the upper left corner, but not on the right? It's because my oven is not heating evenly. Every oven is very different. So if your oven tends to be a little bit temperamental like that, I would say maybe 5 minutes in, I'm gonna need to rotate this, okay? So that both sides are evenly heated, okay? So it's 20 minutes. Now you can see that the top surface still is not completely done, but the sides, you should see, like, you know, the edges, the 4 edges are, you know, getting golden brown, which is what we want, okay? So now at this point, you're going to turn the oven to top heat. Okay, so top heat, top rack, top heat. leave a slit open, and we're gonna brown the top for 10 minutes. So what you're gonna get is something more or less like this. And if you're not seeing like holes on the surface, don't worry, we're gonna fix that. Serrated knife, okay? And I simply just try to score the top. It doesn't have to be even, it doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't matter, you're just exposing the holes underneath the surface. So once you have done that, you have all these holes exposed and your cake is relatively even. And it's still hot. It's very important that you're doing this when it's still hot. That room temperature butter, heart attack, boom. So why is it so important to expose all those holes? You're in the shot. It's because you want the butter to melt and seep into all those vertical shafts. Peanut brown sugar, sprinkle that evenly across. You can actually adjust the these like peanut sugar consistency. If you like more like a chunky peanut texture, you can do that. If you want like, you know, more like a fine grind or something, you can do that too. It's totally up to you. Bacon on one side, and on the other side, I'm going to put banana. I'm gonna slice it down the middle where that bacon and banana line is. Once it's separated, I'm going to flip the banana over. Ha!
Wow.
Thank God. Press it down a little bit and then you're gonna trim off the sides, okay? I want very nice even edges. And then we're gonna cut them into 4 equal portions. There. Another cross section for you guys. This is a very, very unique cake because of the fermentation and the baking powder and the baking soda. But most importantly, because it holds in all those butter that we spread it on top. So here we go. You know this can't be bad, right? I mean, what's not to like about this? It's really chewy. It's like, it has a very soft and chewy texture. Only tapioca lovers would understand what I'm saying. At the same time, it has a that savory sweetness going on here, okay? It's a dessert that is, you know it's a dessert because it's still on the sweet side, more on the savory side. But you can definitely tell there's a savory element to this. And I have to say, Elvis has a point on this. The bacon, banana, peanut, butter just works so well together. And the butter, of course. And it's a messy thing to eat. Make no mistake about it, but so satisfying. The butter. You're gonna need a napkin for eating this, but such a fun recipe to make. And basically the filling, you can adapt it to whatever you like. So it's very adaptable. Really interesting texture, really unique crumb. I think this is gonna be a party pleaser. So that's it. See you next time.